Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to another paint and chat. So I went onto Instagram and I asked you guys whether you wanted to see a watch me struggle video today or a paint and chat. The paint and chat was ahead, so here we are. Y'all said y'all wanted this over the other ones. In this video, while I am painting, I want to talk about why I am not a full-time artist. Get my posture together. So this is something that I could be talking about all day. So I was trying to bring it down to a few points, a few thoughts. And some of the reasons why I am not a full-time artist are obvious reasons, but some of them are a little less obvious, pertains to me and my situation and what I got going on in my life. While I'm chatting, I will be painting this painting I started a while ago of Megan Thee Stallion. For those who've been following my channel, you know about this painting. If you don't know, I'm gonna link it. Before I get into my exact reasons, let me kind of catch those up to speed who don't know. I am a product designer, and that is basically my day job. Product designers are more commonly called UX designers, so I'll just say UX designer to eliminate any confusion. But basically, I am the person who is designing how mobile and web applications work, and also how they look. That is the most basic way that I can explain. For example, whenever Instagram comes out with new features, whether that is Insta stories or anything really that's new that they come out with, that's a cool thing that they didn't have before, a UX designer had to be a part of that process of figuring out what that next thing is going to be, how it's going to work from beginning to end. This takes me to my first point, earning potential. This is the most obvious reason. When I first started painting, I had just graduated undergrad. This was in 2014. I wasn't really sure whether I could be a full-time artist, whether I can make it as one. I didn't even have social media at the time for myself. I did not have Young Black Artists, and really just the idea of becoming an artist and being successful financially as an artist, that idea was not something that I thought could happen at the time. Because I was just starting off, I didn't have the leverage. I didn't have as many people on my team outside of like my close friends and family. And it just wasn't yet something that was considered a thing for me to do full time. At that point, it was all about survival. It wouldn't be for another 2 years before I started showcasing my art actually, and getting opportunities to get exposure. And during that time, I already had YBA and kind of was getting more followers on my Instagram account. Like I didn't get that boost of reassurance in that area until a couple years later. And by then I was already on my way back to graduate school because I was just kind of tired of struggling, you know? And at the time, I was making more money from my art. I was getting commissions. I was getting graphic design commissions and all types of opportunities like that, but it really just wasn't enough to sustain me. I didn't have the audience then that I do now. Even now, I know that I don't have the audience that I could have, and that could be super beneficial for me to make it as a full-time artist. So I figured, let me do something that will still kind of allow me to be creative. And I was a graphic designer at the time, but wasn't really feeling it as a career as much. So I got into UX design, went back to school for that. I wanted to, of course, like anybody, just have the ability to save and the ability to pay bills comfortably, and that's sort of what sparked my reason to go back to school. But as you know, like once that ball kind of gets rolling with your career, it does make it a lot harder to like go back or decide, okay, well let me like put all of this on hold and just be an artist. Like That decision got harder and harder as time went on because I started to make commitments in my life that were just a little bit harder to walk away from, honestly. I've always really doubted my earning potential when it came to being an artist. And this takes me to my second point. Depending on who you are who's watching this might be a little controversial, I don't know. But my audience is not willing to pay what I think I am worth yet. I say yet because as time goes on, I think that my audience, or those who really appreciate and support my work, those people have become more and more willing to pay for my work. There was a time where I couldn't really get a lot of people to pay anything for my work, and it's because most of the people who were supporting me were people who were around my age. So the younger we are, the harder it is to have the money for something, because you're just now really getting out in the world, you just now get money, and it makes sense. So as time went on, of course, people were willing to pay, but I really could not sell my art for more than maybe $150, and every once in a blue moon I was able to sell for maybe $200 or $250. If you're working on a painting for 8 or more hours, it's hard for you to sell it for more than $100 or $150 or whatever that is. Like, you're kind of bumping up on minimum wage, and I think I'm worth more than minimum wage, don't you? If I'm not at a point where I can sell my original work at a price that is going to actually support me and my bills and my future goals and endeavors and in a house or whatever it is that I want and that I need, and that's my basic human right as a person to have, then I can't rely on it just yet as my only form of income. So you may be wondering, Ashley, why don't you just supplement your art with art prints or canvas art or other merchandise? That's what all the other artists are doing. I know what y'all thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's not the only way you make money. Most people do not actually make money off of their original art. They make money off of the things that they can kind of print out real quick and sell. I know. Back up, back up. This takes me to my next point. Hustling and execution does not come natural for me. I am a very entrepreneurial person. I hope I said that word right. I love to come up with new ideas. I love to come up with concepts. I am able to come up with things that are important for people. I'm able to come up with business plans. I'm able to break things all the way down. I'm able to come up with plans and be hecka logistical and strategy-based type person. But when it comes down to actually executing on that strategy, I struggle. I can admit that that is a weakness for me. Not everybody is natural born hustlers, and not everybody loves the grind and loves to get out there and work and grind and blah blah. Like, I have had to grind for a long time, and I've grinded in a lot of other ways, but it doesn't come natural. For me to grind, it's actually taking all of my energy. So it's really hard for me to stay consistent. How does this connect back to merchandise and prints and things of that sort? So it is important to keep in mind that I am a business of one when it comes to Ashley, when it comes to ARS, my painting side of my business. I've gotten to a point where I've accepted that I cannot do it by myself. I can't do it all on my own, but I right now just don't have the extra set of hands or the couple extra set of hands to kind of help me with the things that I lack in. So if you think about it, a lot of businesses, a lot of people, they are making things happen because they are not doing it by themselves. If I could get somebody who is willing to run up to the print shop to check on things, then pick things up, or even able to package and ship things, like, because I have more than a couple projects going on, let's say my job is one project, let's say that art is another project, a young Black artist is another, it's just not feasible for me to grind in every one of those areas. I don't have the energy of 5 people. So I do theorize that if I was full-time, I would maybe have more energy, because I will be, from the moment that I wake up in the morning, hitting the ground running on my business rather than hitting the ground running on my business at 5 o'clock. By the time 5 o'clock comes around, of course, like, people are tired and want to relax and want to chill, and you just might not even have the time to be able to run up anywhere. Like, most print shops and places I communicate with are closed by the time I'm ready to get things popping. Like, I've done it, I've sold prints, I've sold merchandise and things of that sort, but I could not really keep up with it. And that's just something I'm willing to accept. I'm not afraid to admit that that's just not my strength. One day I do hope to get the engine going enough to where maybe I can make a little bit of money, and then I can start to actually pay somebody to help me with it, whether that's just a small amount, a small fee, whatever. There are ways around that, and I just need to take the time to really think about it. But so me starting back on posting to YouTube is part of me trying to teach myself to be consistent when it comes to my art, and coming up with ways and strategies to go about getting work out there, getting stuff out there, getting something out into the world, and being consistent with it, not falling off. And honestly, I think that working on my YouTube first, so I'm actually currently not focused on making money for my art. I'm not taking commissions, and I haven't really been like serious about posting what's for sale or trying to push to get things sold. And that's because I really want to work on being consistent first. It's really hard to teach yourself how to be consistent and to discipline yourself in one area when you have this other area that you need to be disciplined in. Like, I just need to be disciplined in executing and being an artist. I need to be a painter first. I need to understand my style. I need to understand what matters to me. I need to understand what's important to me as an artist first. And before, I was so focused on the business side of it and how I could make money, and I didn't even have an understanding of why I was creating in the first place. And when you approach art from the standpoint of it being kind of a way to make money or get rich quick type of situation, like, you are going to be in for a rude awakening, because it's going to be really hard to be able to sustain yourself through that, because it does take a hustle, it does take a grind, and it takes you truly having a passion in it. It really takes you truly being willing to get up every day and create and paint, even if you don't feel like it, even if you don't even have any ideas or anything in your mind, even if you hate what you're making. You need to be able to paint. Like, for me, it's painting, but for you, it could be writing, it could be anything. But for me, I have to be able to get up and paint and be okay with that and be comfortable with that and being able to push myself in that before I start adding in something so complicated as business and making money. It's like the foundation. My foundation was never right. Without the foundation being right, everything else after it crumbled. Because once I stopped painting because I don't feel like painting today, or I don't feel like creating today, or I'm not feeling it today, is depleted. So if you're focused on the business first and making money first, you're backwards. So this is some wisdom maybe that you can get from an artist who has never been full-time before. So keep that in mind. Please think about what you are willing to sacrifice and what you are not willing to sacrifice. I enjoy being a product designer. I love being a product designer. I love solving problems. I love designing workflows. I love coming up with new application and web application ideas and features. I love just coming up with entire new apps altogether. I plan on building my own app one day. So right now, I'm not willing to sacrifice that. And really, I don't think I will ever not be a designer. I think I'm truly a designer, entrepreneur, problem solver person at heart. But right now, I enjoy my job. I enjoy what I'm doing. So I'm just not willing to sacrifice it right now. But I know that a day may come where I am willing to take that leap. I am willing to take that jump. Right now, I just accepted that I have to be able to make everything that I have going on in my life work. I have to make my job work. I have to make the art work. I have to make YBA work. I have to make it all work all together and maybe it's not working to the level that is expected for it to work, but it's working as much as it can work right now for me. I have hecky plans in store, like for myself, for YBA. Again, y'all know I am entrepreneurial in nature. Once I can get the right people to kind of help me with this stuff, it's a wrap. That's all I got. Hopefully that was somewhat encouraging in nature, saying why I didn't do something. I didn't really get too far. I only was able to get like the rest of this part of her face painted, but I'm going to keep working on this tonight just so I can, you know, get some well. You hear me? That's all I got. Please comment below and let me know if you are a full-time artist or if you are not a full-time artist yet. And if you are, please give us a little tip about how you go about making it work for you. And if you're not, comment and let me know why you haven't taken that leap just yet. Thanks for watching, and please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Yes, yeah.